Welcome along to the bench with Jenna and Jon. I'm delighted to say that this week, as our guest, our very special guest, we have a budding pianist.
A what?
Now,
a what?
Like penis, like piano player.
A pianist.
Piano player.
A pianist.
I've
Yes.
done my research this week, you see, John Wilkin.
Is that true?
We'll get to that in a
Right,
minute.
serious.
Former head coach of the London Broncos, former Leeds Rhinos player, now Challenge Cup winner with Hull KR, Hull KR's assistant, Danny Ward. Welcome along to the bench.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Can we get to the pianist? Pianist.
My hearing wasn't so good then. I thought you called me something. I've been called a lot worse.
I know, yeah, you are. Guilty.
So tell us, so piano, you were playing, if my research is correct,
Yeah, it
you were playing...
started in lockdown, really. It was one of them when we're all baking bread and we're all doing random mad stuff in lockdown, wasn't it? And my little girl, she had a big keyboard and that she played it. And yeah, started picking up a little bit of piano. It's hard with these sausage fingers as well. Do you know what I mean? You're hitting about 3 keys at the same time, so they're not really pianist fingers, as we say.
They're not pianist fingers.
Are you still playing,
fingers,
Denny?
Are the what?
Are you still playing?
That's a no.
Not as much.
That's a no, isn't it?
I dabble. No.
Not at all.
Now and again. If
So
there's
not a budding
piano
penis.
in
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if you've tuned in for that, you won't get much more in terms of piano talk from Danny. But Danny, let's just start with last weekend at Wembley.
Yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
Pretty unreal, yeah. It's hard to sink in, really, what happened. And the few days that followed it was just unreal. You know, was talking in the build-up about when we win it, it's going to be the greatest feeling that you'll experience. And it was... I think the boys realised that, you know, winning it and seeing how much it meant to the OKR fans and everyone involved, from, you know, Neil O'Gill all the way down to Bonesy, the kit man, and the players who've been a long time and supported the club, and the fans in the crowd who'd, you know, gone a whole generation without winning some silverware, major trophy like that. You know, it was just so special. And the homecoming on the Sunday, you know, that to top that off, that. You didn't think you couldn't get any better than the day itself. To come home to that on the Sunday with the open top bus ride and ride round Hull and then into, you know, the square there, it was absolutely.
For people people who haven't seen that, it's remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah.
The scenes at the homecoming was one of the reasons why. Look, I thought Warrington were really unlucky, and I thought they produced a really good performance. And obviously Warrington fans wanted to see Warrington win, but I wanted to see Hull KR win because they had a sense it would produce something special like that homecoming. It was a crazy scene off that balcony, wasn't it?
It was unreal. It was like to have all the squad there and to see that, and again, it just seemed to go on for miles. The faces in the crowd, the red, just a sea of red all the way back, and flares were being let off, and it was nuts. It was unreal.
Danny, as a player, you lost the cup twice.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, twice. Yeah,
And
no,
your
3 or 5.
your father, David, won it twice.
Yeah.
And dropped it, didn't he?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I was saying to the boys as well the day before. The cup was always special growing up. It's what we was brought up on, the Challenge Cup, and watching it on grandstand. And before wonderful people at Sky, you know, took over, it was the only games we watched as kids. And the magic of the cup, and it was always special in my house for my dad winning it just before I was born. He won it twice, and as captain, as Leeds, and and then he apparently, so I've heard the story goes, he dropped it down the drive after probably a couple of sherbets, which I can understand, I can relate to that after last weekend. And I think it was the old days when the captains got to take the trophy home, so he's just taken the trophy up, paraded it round the boozers in Dewsbury.
Old school.
Old
school.
And he's just got this big, beautiful trophy that you're just carrying around. And I think it got dropped down the driveway at home, and like the big angel off the top snapped off.
So
and one of them moments where you wake up the next morning and there's half a trophy in your front room. And it's kind of a story that gets told a lot. I mean, luckily I probably take after my mum for being the sensible one in the family, not after kind of the antics of my dad.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, leave it there.
No follow-ups, no follow-ups.
I know a little different, that's all I'm saying.
No, definitely a sensible one.
Sensible one, right, fine.
But yeah, it was good times.
Yeah.
I miss where they used to, the top of the trophy used to come off back in the day.
Yeah.
And you used to fill it up with grog and drink it, didn't you?
Yeah,
well,
but it'd always fall off whenever the captain went to lift it up. The trophy would always fall and smack somebody in the head.
So they fixed it on, didn't they?
Yeah, it's glued on now. You can't come off, but then you can't
anything in it.
You can't fill it with.
So you mentioned the days after. I'm interested. What happened? What occurred? How did the celebrations go?
The bus ride home was the best bit for us. Just to spend, 5 hours on a coach, just locked into a coach, just still having it sink in, just being around the people.
What was the choice of drinks on the coach?
Pardon?
What was the choice of drinks on the coach?
Well, it was anything from cups of tea to lager to Guinness, really. It was anything you wanted, depending on what mood you're in or how rough you was from the night before, really. So, yeah, we weren't short of drink options on the coach. So
That's good to know.
No, but we had 5 hours. It's a long old drive from London up to Hull, as you know. So
Start with tea, end with gin and tonics, maybe?
It's what? Sorry.
Start with tea. Tea, finish on the G&T.
You need a tea.
Top
You need a
shelf.
tea in the morning, just to get your eye back in.
That bus trip back from Wembley is like, you contrast that to when you're going down to London to play, and you've got some experience of that. That bus trip down seems to take forever, and you're wishing it away. And, even on the M62, going to a game, you feel like you just want the bus trip to be over. That bus trip back from Wembley, if it lasted for 40 hours, you'd be happy.
Oh, I could still be on it now. Yeah, the lads wouldn't complain if they were still riding
keep it
around. The M25 now, it was unbelievable. You just don't care how long it is. It's such a special moment. Yeah, you don't want to get off.
Yeah,
It's just a great time. Just being with the people you love and you've done something special with. So it's. It makes it nice going down to Wembley and getting that 5 hours all the way back.
Am I right in thinking it's a trip that you're very familiar with? Because do your family still live in London?
Yes, they do.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
Mrs. and daughter's still down in Surrey. Yeah, so I travel down on weekends and things like that. Yeah, 'cause my girl, she's in school. She's 14, so she's got GCSEs coming up and things like that. So she was really settled down there with her group of mates. So yeah, at the minute I'm living up here during the week and go back down on weekends. So it's challenging, but we make it work. And it was a great opportunity to come up here and do what I love doing. But I still get to spend, and they come here and come to games and things like that. So we still see quite a lot of each other. But yeah, it's a decent drive.
That's hard. That.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, you get used to the travel a little bit and. You get your tunes on and obviously your podcast. You listen to the bench.
Course. Yeah, well done. Well done.
There you go. And
You're
put that
welcome
on
anytime.
and that passes the time. And
We just need people to plug it not on the podcast because it doesn't really work, does it? If we plug our podcast on the podcast, what we need you to do is do that outside of this podcast.
Wrong,
Well, thank you.
No,
I really appreciate it.
I'm trying to do a good thing and just get throwing my face right.
Well, that time it's safe to say you love London, like being in London and living there.
Yeah, we loved it. Like I said, we've been down a long time now, and all my kids were born and raised down there. So that's kind of been our life for like 18 years. We've been down there since I first went down to play at what was Harlequins at the time. So yeah, it was be a very tough choice to come and just uproot everything and come and live up north when we can make it work as we are doing now. So yeah, it's a challenge.
This isn't forever though, Danny, is it?
It's what?
This isn't forever,
you
is
don't,
it?
Yeah, that's it. You don't know what's round the corner, anything like that. So
is there anything round the corner?
Not at the minute. No, there's nothing. Yeah, I'd take each day as it comes and each year by year. And you don't like to say sports. Anything can happen. Like 2 years ago, I was coaching rugby union down in London, and then out of nowhere, the cash job came up, and we didn't even realise. Like within the space of like a week, it's like I've moved back up here. I'm head coach at Cass, so you never, like in that terms, you never know what's around the corner. And that was just a 6-week job, and then end up signing for OKR, and then you never know. So
do you miss being the top man, the top boss, the head coach?
I'd like to be head coach. There's no secret in that, and I do miss that at times. But I enjoy being an assistant as well, and that was one of the first conversations I had with Willie when we talked about me coming here. I was like, I got offered the head coach at Cass, but I've no problems about being an assistant if it's a club that's going in the right direction. If it's got good people to work with and learn from. I saw it as I'm a young coach and saw the quality of people who was here, the quality of the playing staff, the coaching staff, and it was Willie, but Hodge and Skids and people like that who I could learn off as well. Yeah. So I had no problem being an assistant coach, and it's totally different to being a head coach. You don't have that kind of stress. You're not dealing with other things as much away from, like a head coach, you can spend a lot of time just not coaching. He's basically like just dealing with things outside of rugby or with the board and balance of the squad and recruitment, things like that. You can get away from doing the thing that we actually love and what we wanted to do in the first place is get on the field and coach. And so that's the great thing about being an assistant. But obviously I'd love to be a head coach as well one day. So, but at the minute I'm enjoying being an assistant coach to Willie.
And what's your specific area of expertise? What part of the Hull KR game are you looking after?
I do the defence really, yeah. I'm brought in to look after the defence and oversee that really. So
you'd be delighted that Hull KR have got the best defence by some way in the competition.
Thanks
then.
for that. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I feel like you knew this. Was this a leading question?
But we're all defence coaches here. Like I said, we're all
yeah, sure.
So I've got such a good bunch of staff around me. Like I'm not going to say I know everything about what wingers and centres should be doing, but having Skids and Dave Hodgson with their experience sat next to me on a desk and always being able to pick their brains, Willie who played half back, there's a good group there who we can all just chip into each other's areas and share it. It's not like, oh, I'm doing defence, don't tell me about defence, it's my area. There's none of that. It's such a good group to work with. So yeah, it's going pretty well at the minute, and that's one area of the game we pride ourselves on, and you need to be good at it. You know, the best defensive teams normally win the competition at the end of the year. You know, that's what we're going to base ourselves on for years is being a good defensive team, and so we put a lot of effort into that. But I've just one little cog in that wheel because it's the lads who are going out and buying into it each week and defending the socks off like they did at Wembley at the weekend.
Before we get on to Willie's influence and Hull KR's success at the minute, I just want to circle back to the head coach job. Obviously, we know Gary Hetherington has taken over at the minute. London Broncos, he's made that claim that he wants to see the Broncos back in the top flight as early as next season.
Sorry.
And is it the Aussie shrill or is it the music?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Is it? Oh, I'm sorry.
Definitely the music. So
usually it's your accent that I can't catch. So is that a job, if it was to be offered to you, would you go back?
The London one?
Yes.
London. I'd never say never again. London's still something I'm passionate about as a person, as a coach and as a rugby fan. First and foremost, you know, I spent a long time down there, and even when I spoke to you lots when I was head coach, I was passionate about how the game needs a strong London. You know, the junior setup and the kids playing the game down there. So many reasons why I think the game needs it. If it was come up, I'd never say never, but it'd have to be the right project, the right backing and things like that. So there's a lot that kind of needs to be answered on the London thing. I'd never rule it out, but right now I'm happy up here at Hull, you know, and doing what I'm doing. London doing a great job down there. Mike's doing a great job with London, and you know, I think they've got Gary in there now, so it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But at the minute, I'm just happy doing what I'm doing here at OKR.
And why is London important then? For people, there's a lot of naysayers, isn't there, about London as an opportunity, and there's a lot of people in the north who say we should shrink and we don't need to be expanded into. Why, from your experience, is London a complete necessity for the game?
I think the media exposure as well around London, having a capital city, that exposure it brings on TV, in newspapers. Like the year we was in, when I was last there in 2019, the amount of coverage we got in national press. And speaking to journalists, that's not me saying it, you just spoke to journalists and they were definitely saying that, we're getting national papers now, we're covering London Broncos. Evening Standard there was had, you know, double page spreads in the Evening Standard, which goes out to millions of people in London every day. So you're talking about the coverage that brings to the game, and then, you know, off the back of that, media attention, sponsorship. It's also now about the way that people in Australia are talking whenever they're mentioning Super League. They're always mentioning a team in London.
Of course.
So like London's one of the best cities in the world, and I think the attention that brings it's got to be successful. It's got to be done right. I don't think they should just be given a place there. And I know there'll be people who disagree with me. I don't think they should just be gifted a place in Super League. They've got to earn it, as we've always said. But I just think that kind of media attention and it's a national sport. Then I think at the minute we're not a national sport. We complain about media coverage and why aren't we being talked about? Why are we just getting a little snippet on the 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock news, or not mentioned at all? And it's not really seen as a national sport at the minute, because we're all up here in the north, and there's some, you know, strong clubs with a lot of tradition. I'm not knocking that, and there's place for all that as well. But I think we've just got to expand and around the country, not just in London, but I'd love to see, Midlands Club and Newcastle and all these places around there. I'd love to see that in the future, that we've got more of a spread geographically.
Yeah. It's interesting what Danny's saying there, because I remember you previously saying when you were playing at Toronto, whenever London would travel to Toronto, it'd be a sellout because it's a London side.
I saw in Canada, CN24 is the like BBC or a big daily news channel, and there wasn't a bit of interest, but when London came, it was like, right, everything stops. London are coming to Toronto, and it didn't matter what sport it was. When the London brand was coming to the Toronto, the exposure, the level of exposure was completely different for the Toronto club. So it shows you the power of it. And if you think of Peter V'landys in Australia now, like he understands rugby league in this country, so he knows it's northern, but he's a businessman as well, and he understands the power of having London in that as part of one of your assets. Like, I think it's essential that we have aspirational names, because with all due respect, people in other markets don't even know where Wigan is.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Brutally.
They don't even know. Well, London is a name that everybody recognises.
Yeah. Okay, so let's park the London chat and let's get back to Hull KR, because huge success, you've touched on it. First piece of silverware won in 40 years. I mean, what was it like during that game? You were trailing, there was minutes to go. Did you think this is done? We've messed up, this is Warrington's?
When Steve kicked that 20-40, I thought that was my first little bit of doubt. I thought, I just don't know whether it's our day today, because we're always positive in the box, and knew that although we was making some errors, we was all right. We were, like I say, we was defending well, and we just needed to get that swing and momentum. And we defended his own line, and we had a good kick chase, and we just went at him. The way that we went at him, like the 72nd, 73rd minute, lads flying off the line, I thought, we're all right here, we're good, we're going to get the ball back. And then Steve steps up and just goes wonk like that, and you're like, moments where it's like, will you just go away?
Yeah.
In nice terms, will you just go away? Please, Steve, just leave it now. But credit to how the lads pick himself up off that, and just, right, we'll go defend, we'll get the ball back. I think we said Dean Hadley just drops on a scrap and we'll work his way downfield. And it's just massive testament to how hard these boys work and never give up, for 80 minutes. That's what we base a lot of things on down here, just work rate for 80 minutes and never giving up. And a little bit of doubt crept in my mind when towards the end just thought, is it going to be our day? We'd had a lot of errors, but should have had a little bit more faith, shouldn't I?
Was there any doubt in the coaching box? Do you know, your head coach Willie?
What was the chat between you and Willie?
I was just trying to calm him down.
He was on the edge, wasn't he?
There was a few moments where he got a bit tense, and them headers were just. It was like he gets a bit tense and frustrated, as it should. But there was a few moments in there. But we kind of knew. We knew that if we just stuck to his plan, we'd get joy. We'd get an opportunity. We've got some quality players on the field who can make something out of nothing. We just had no field position, and we knew if we just get a set or two in their 20 that we could cause them trouble, but we're just nowhere near their goal line for certainly the second half. But we were confident we could stick to the plan and get over the line. But there was a couple of edgy moments in there where tensions are a bit raised. But
on the game for me swung, and like big games are hinge on moments, and there were so many moments where I thought the game had swung in different directions. I just wanted to focus on one thing, and I don't know if it was overlooked in the coverage, but Tom Davis to chase the kick at the end, it's almost a lost cause in many ways. And like those little efforts when you're playing matter. Look, they make the difference, don't they? Tom might do that 50 times in a year and get nothing. But those little things are the things you value here, those little efforts. Yeah,
other than that, we rep that in training every day, whatever, all the way through pre-season, whenever we're shaping games or playing anything, it's if a ball's gone in or there's a ball on the floor, you chase it, you don't give up on it. Whether it's like an unopposed session, or you're playing, you know, a little game, small-sided game. So that's ingrained into the lads, you know, as that OKR way of never giving up on anything, on a ball on the floor. And like I say, Tom will chase, you know, 10, 20 of them kicks all year and not get anything, but the one that he got, you know, he's going to live long in the memory, because it was well worth him. All them other attempts where he's chased him and not got there is worth it when you get it. But that's got to be ingrained in your culture and how hard you work at training and what you value. And that's like I say, that's that hard work mentality.
Yeah, and that's what people don't see, you know. I see it in Jay Field for Wigan. Supports people carrying the ball 25 times a game. And then he pops up in a big game and does something, and we sort of go, oh, you know, wasn't that brilliant? I'm like, I've been watching him do that every week with no results.
Sometimes it doesn't pay off,
and
it does.
But when it does, in big games like that, I thought that clip showed me why Hull KR, under Willie Peters in particular, have been great.
And that's what great players do. They're consistent in what they do. I think that's what makes great players great. It's consistency, and that's in training. You talk about Jai Field there, what he does, he'll do that in training every day, and he reps it every week in games, as that's what the difference is. Because any player in Super League will be able to get on the end of that kick and be quick enough, but do they do it regularly? Do they do it consistently? And that's what sets the great players apart.
So you mentioned Willie just before. Let's talk about the head coach here at Hull KR. You said before that you'd learnt a few things. What's the biggest lesson he's taught you?
I think just the relationships again he has with all the players, and how much he cares, you know, that on a daily basis, you know, he's constantly checking in with people, and the relationships he's building, that, you know, makes the players play for him so well. The detail that he goes into, and leaving no stone unturned, whether that's, you know, what we're doing in game planning the week before, you know, that we're already looking at, like we're always one week ahead, or, you know, the late night voice notes at 10 o'clock at night.
Oh,
thinking,
no!
Have you looked at this? Have we got this play? Have we got that? And I'm like, yeah, mate, we've got that
Voice
covered.
notes.
Oh, he loves the voice notes,
notes.
really. But
No.
But that's the detail, that it's like the constant detail, that we're leaving no stone unturned. So we know we can sit back, you know, tonight in that box and know that we've done everything we can to prepare the boys to go out, and we know that we can know that we've done his job. And I think that detail and the relationship to build, you know, something I've really taken from Willie.
And how does Willie use those soft skills then? You talk about building relationships with players. That takes time, you know, for people to trust you and learn to trust you. But what's Willie's style? Like, how is he doing that? Is it just regular, consistent checking?
Regular chatting, just communicating and asking and caring about the players, about the families, about how they're settled in. Not just rugby, it's probably not the rugby chats, it's the chats about how you're getting on, how's the family, all that, and caring firstly, so the lads, you know that he cares. Because we can all make that up and pretend like we care and ask them questions, but you've got to be sincere with it. And once the boys know you care, then they'll care about what they do and want to probably, you know, run through brick walls for you.
Yeah, you get reaction, don't you?
Yeah, 100%.
You get the same reaction back. So I found with people, when you're in charge of people, if the way you are with them, you get that response back from them. It's like mutual, like behaviour. You know, if I treat someone with respect, they respect me. You know. And if you treat people with empathy, they empathise with you and they want to help you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, empathy is massive in any walk of life, putting yourself in someone else's shoes and try to imagine what they're going through. And it might be lads who are away from home, or lads who's going through things off the field, and just trying to relate to them and knowing that them boys, that you care about them, and you're not just saying it to tick a box. You're not just checking in on them once a week to tick a box. It's more than that.
Yeah.
So a question I asked you this week, John, on the verdict. I'm going to ask you, Danny. It took 40 years to win this trophy. How long until the next one comes?
Oh, well, hopefully not that long. You know. I'd like to think that that's kicked something into place now, where the boys have won it and they've got that belief that they can win something now. So you'd like to think that it's a springboard to go on to be successful. I'm not saying that we're going to go win everything, but I think the belief that it's given the players. And I know a bit's been said about if we'd have probably lost that match, psychologically that could have been a massive blow if we'd have lost that game at the weekend, because of going into it as, you know, Bucky's obviously had us as huge favourites. We didn't see it like that, but going in as favourites and having that pressure on us in a different way, if we'd have probably lost that third final on the bounce with this group of players, could have done a bit of damage mentally. But I think now they've got that confidence, and to win the game how we did, win a gritty final in bad conditions, that's going to just give them the belief to go on and hopefully kick on and push for more silverware. And how good it was as well. You remember them feelings of how good it was. If you can just bottle a little bit of that from that balcony or that bus ride home and just go chase that feeling again.
I don't want to forget it. So
Go on. You carry on.
You go on.
No, it's fine. I was going to say you get an incredible amount of confidence from when you win that first trophy. It's incredible. Like you carry that as it's a different confidence. You approach games just with that in the back of your mind. It's powerful.
So I want you to compare what it felt like winning the Challenge Cup as assistant with Hull KR. How did that compare to when you won the £1 million game? As head coach of the London Broncos, was it?
If anything, better.
Is that your greatest achievement in terms of rugby league?
I think so, I certainly think so at the minute. That was, an unbelievable achievement for all involved, whether you're an assistant or head coach or player. I think I wasn't sure how it'd feel being an assistant win the Challenge Cup. I was like, I wonder if it's going to feel that good, and then
it did.
It just felt so good, just to be a part of it. So it was unbelievable, and then you get hungry for that and just want to do it again.
Okay, so on this podcast we've got On the Bench, Off the Bench. You said before you listen to everyone, so I don't need to explain
everyone.
So on the bench, what's your on the bench, Danny Ward? On the bench, something you'll see less of in rugby league, or
less of.
So
this is putting it on the bench. So my pet hate at the minute is lads who cut the socks.
Oh yes. Why are they doing it?
Because they've got no grip, John.
What do you mean they've got no grip?
They've got to cut the socks and then they put another pair of socks with sticky bits on under the feet, so they can just. I don't know how we managed in old days without these socks with sticky bits on. We used to be slipping and sliding all over the place like an ice rink. So lads get a beautiful pair of lovely rugby league knee socks, and then they'll just proceed to cut the feet off them and then put another pair of socks in. Then they spend another 5 minutes rolling these leg warmers, these like flash dancey style leg warmers up perfect, putting tape around them. So then they've got a different colour pair of these sticky socks. I can't name the brands, I'm sure there's brands out there, but we all know what they're called. And I'm like, why?
Why?
So then there's just socks scattered all over, little ankle socks scattered all over the floor, getting put in the bin. And
someone's got something to answer for here, because someone started that.
Yeah.
Who started doing that? And whoever they are, stop doing it.
Yeah.
Stop doing it.
Just stop doing it, because now I've got my kids will ask me, my kids when they were younger, and I need some of these socks.
So it's like
what are you on about? You've got your football socks. I went, no, I need these socks with grip underneath. I'm like,
just on that, can I mention one thing that I always see with Danny, which I absolutely love, is when we come to a game, some, coaches who are on the field, they've got the flash boots. Not Danny. Puma Kings, right? They're a 1980s football boot. They're not even
the greatest boot.
Yeah, the greatest boot. Gary Lineker would have worn them, and you still wear them now.
Puma Kings, the greatest boot. Man, I'm trying to just get that back. More black boots. So we need more black boots.
We need more black
boots. Black Puma Kings.
Proper socks.
Yeah,
proper socks.
Know what I mean? Your coppers.
So is that your
Puma
off the
Kings.
bench then? Puma Kings. More Puma Kings.
Well, that could be off the bench.
Do you have a better one? I didn't want to put words in your mouth.
I mean, off the bench, I was having to think. Off the bench, I want to see more. It's probably a bit of a serious one, I was thinking, but I want more reserve game, more academy games.
Yeah.
I think we need a proper reserves comp and a proper academy comp. At the minute, they're playing 12 games a year.
It's not enough,
It's not enough. It's not in my eyes. And I'm passionate about going back to days in London, passionate about junior development, and I started coaching in scholarship and then worked my way up for academy. And it's just not enough in my eyes. What they're doing at the minute is, 12-game season for academy, 12-game season for reserves, and that's just not enough. We've got lads who around that, 19, 20, and they're playing like 8 games a year.
It's crazy.
You take that 12-game season, a couple of them you might be injured in, or a couple of them you've got a 30-odd man squad at academy the way you might be rotated out. So all of a sudden, you might be playing like 8 games a year as an 18, 19-year-old kid, and I just think it's stopping us developing a lot of players. Like the good ones will always kick on through, but lads who might not be quite physically developed at 18, 19 years old, I think they're just not getting enough rugby at this time, and for whatever reasons why we have just a small reserves comp that we're not investing in, or an academy competition where it's 12 games. I just think it's madness. I think kids just need to be playing week in, week out.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more.
Me too. That was a really great on and off the bench Danny Ward. Unfortunately, John Wilkin, you can't.
Are you
have
joking
one.
me?
Oh, we're out of time, and we've got a very busy
No,
schedule
can I not?
because it's party time.
Can I not?
Here.
Come on, John.
No, really quick. I want to put knighthoods on the bench.
Just dancing.
I want to put knighthoods on the bench.
Let's do
Nobody's
that.
wearing suits of armour anymore.
Let's do this.
Why are you calling it a
one another
knighthood?
time.
Nobody's got a sword. Nobody rides a horse unless they're going to ride horses in.
And
Right,
let's
if we get knighted, we're turning up Buckingham Palace.
And
Yeah,
also,
full
let's
suit
just
of
end
armour.
with saying
Full suit of armour on a
congratulations
horse.
to Sir Billy Boston, who was knighted this
Well done,
week.
Billy.
The first rugby league player to receive such an honour in the sport's 130-year history. What a way to end. John Wilkin, Danny
Thank
Ward,
you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
You are finally a Challenge
Finally,
Cup
yeah.
winner.
Took a while. Well, thank you.
Well done.
Thanks a lot.